Today we're going to just review slope formula. It's part, like on Thursday and Friday we reviewed graphing and intercepts. Today we're going to look at slope formula. Again, it's review. It's stuff we've done in the past, so it should be pretty simple. Please ask questions if you have any as we go along. I want to start out by writing down the formula. The formula we're going to be working with, and you guys need to write this down as well, is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Every time we solve these equations, I want you to write the equation first. Pencil. Okay, so like as I was saying, every time we're going to solve this equation, we need to make sure that we write it. And we're going to use this when we have to find the slope and all we have are two sets of ordered pairs. Okay, so the first thing we do with our set of ordered pairs is label them. An ordered pair is always x comma y, so we're going to label our ordered pairs x1, y1, x2, y2. And we should go and label all of our ordered pairs now. Let's go ahead and take a couple of minutes and label every set of our ordered pairs, x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so every time we have two sets of ordered pairs and they're asking us to find the slope, we're going to use slope formula, okay? So we're going to rewrite the formula. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Why do I have you write the formula if you know what it is? So you don't forget it. Yeah, it creates a habit and it becomes something that you're familiar with, and the next time you see two ordered pairs, then you know that that's what you need to do, is write that formula and substitute. And then we're going to go ahead and draw another fraction bar, and we're going to substitute. Instead of y2, what am I going to write? I'm going to write 13. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write it in parentheses. Okay. Huh? Because my y2 is 13. That's why I labeled them. So what's my y1 going to be? Y1 is what? Also 13. So in parentheses, I'm going to write 13. I want to make sure that we're writing our numbers in parentheses, okay? So then for x2, what is my value? So in parentheses, I'm going to write 7. It's always going to be minus, okay? That doesn't change. And what is my value for x1? So in parentheses, I want to write negative 14, okay? And you'll see the reason why I'm having you write these in parentheses. Okay, so what is 13 minus 13? So I can just write my new fraction bar here and write a 0. So this reads 7 minus negative 14. What happens when I'm subtracting a negative? What happens to that? It becomes a plus, right? So now I have 7 plus 14. What is 7 plus 14? So 0, okay, when I end up with a number or choose a set of numbers or a fraction here, I want to make sure that I simplify. What is 0 divided by 21? It's 0. So my answer is going to be m is equal to 0. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so we're going to do number 2 together. And you guys are going to tell me what to do. What do I start with first? What do I start with, Jordan? What do I start with first? I have to write my formula, right? Yeah, let's write my formula. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so what is my value for y2? Matthew? 10. Okay, so in parentheses, I'm going to write 10. And then always minus. What is my value for y1? So negative 8. In parentheses, I'm going to write negative 8. Do you see why it's important to write that negative 8 in parentheses? Because now what's going to happen up here? It's going to be a plus sign, right? I'm going to finish my equation first. What is my value for x2? x2 is what value? What's my value for x2? So in parentheses, I'm going to write negative 10. And what is my value for x1? Negative 12. Okay. So let's go ahead and make our adjustments here. Remember whenever we said that whenever it's a minus a negative, this becomes plus. So this becomes plus. How about down here? Same thing, right? It becomes plus, so I have a plus. So now I have 10 plus 8, and what's that going to give me? 18. Good. But here I have negative 10 plus 12, so what's that going to give me? All right, so let's do column method just to get that straight. Plus and minus, right? This is a negative, it goes here. This is a positive, it goes here. So I'm going to subtract that from my bigger number. What is 12 minus 2? I mean 10? 2 on the positive side, so it becomes a plus 2. Okay, remember, column method is going to help you out. Whenever you need to review positive and negative integers, we want to make sure that we're using our column method so that we don't make that mistake. I think you had the right answer, right, Isaiah? Okay, you just said 2. So good. So 18. Now, I can simplify 18 over 2, can I not? This is 18 divided by 2. What does it equal? What is it again? 9. I heard a right number and a wrong number, so m is 9. So if we were to write it as a slope, we'd put it over 1, but we don't have to. We can just say m is equal to 9. Easy peasy lemon squeezy? Yeah, go ahead and do number 3 on your own. Number 3 on your own. Okay, so this is what stumped you guys, because I'm telling you minus a negative. 15 is not negative. It does not say minus 15. It just says minus 15. So now this is a negative 10, and this becomes a negative 15. So they're both on the negative side in my column method. So when I add them together, I get negative 25 as my answer. Okay. When I get negative 25, I can simplify. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 25 5 times. And I like to move my negative up to the top there. Okay. Does that make sense? Did I answer your question? This is minus 10 minus 15. It becomes a negative with that minus in front of it. Remember, I tell you, the operation in front is going to tell you if it's a positive or negative number. Okay? Since here we have negative minus a negative, it becomes a positive. Okay? This is not minus a negative. This just says minus 15. So 15 becomes negative. Even though it was positive up here, when I put it in behind a minus sign, it becomes a negative number. It takes the sign of the operation. So when I have two negatives, they both go on the negative column. When they're in the same column, I don't subtract, I add. So I'm taking 10 and 15, adding them together with 25. It's on the negative side, so my answer becomes negative 25. Okay? How many of you guys got that right? How many of you guys forgot to simplify? Make sure you simplify. Make sure you're always simplifying. All right, let's look at number 11. Okay, so what's the first thing I'm going to do now? Write my formula. M equals y2 minus y1. x2 minus x1. Okay, so what's my value for y2? So in parentheses, -7, and then always minus. Let's go ahead and start my parentheses. What's my value for y1? Okay, so what's my value for x2? Always minus. And what's my value for x1? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take care of this. Look at, these are both negative. So am I adding or subtracting? They're both negative. Am I adding or subtracting? It's going to be a bigger negative, correct? What is 17 plus 18?
It's 25.
So this is going to be -25. Becomes a bigger negative. Okay, here I have 14 and 15. They're both negative. Am I adding or subtracting? It's going to be a bigger negative. Excuse me, what is 14 plus 15?
29.
Okay, am I done? Is that my answer? Can I simplify?
I don't think so.
Really? What is a negative divided by a negative? It becomes a positive. So m is actually going to be positive 25 over positive 29. Be careful. Make sure when there are two negatives, you can simplify it to a positive number. Okay? Any questions? Fist of 5. I got this. I don't get this. We got lots of 5s. Okay, so practice is going to make perfect. So we've done 4 problems. You have 8 left, and all period to get them done.